child. My child isn't my easel to paint, nor my diamond to polish. My child isn't my trophy to flaunt, nor my dummy to taunt. My child isn't my badge or my honor, nor my respect that he or she must protect. My child isn't an idea or a fantasy, nor my reflection or legacy. My child isn't my puppet or my project, nor my pawn or my cadet. My child is here to fumble and to stumble and to get in and out of trouble. My child is here to try, to fall, and to cry. My child is here to unravel the mysteries, to educate oneself and rewrite histories. My child is here to make his or her own choices, to exercise his or her free will and experience the consequences. As a parent, my task is to make my child able and capable. To keep aside my ego and be by his or her side, my task is to guide and educate. To let be and not frustrate. My task is allow him to ponder and see my child grow into a wonder. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This poem is for all the parents who are seated here. And I think this sums up this evening's question and answer session and the presentation that the counselors will make here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, in my speech earlier, the beginning of the year, when we had the parent orientation program, I said we are all partners in education. And this is what we call partnership. We are here to discuss our children's problem. We are here to find solutions for the problems. And we are here to discuss all the questions that we got last year, during the last one academic year, the questions that we tackled, the answers that we found, and today we are here to find more answers, better answers, and to be better parents. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this program. Thank you. Over to Dr. Prashop, who will be taking over this session.
Thank you, sir, for giving that wonderful beginning for the session. We have been planning this session, and this is the continuation. The second year we are doing it for the middle school parents. Hope the hall will be full soon. Being a Thursday evening, parents might be traveling and moving towards the hall. In this era of respecting the feelings of everyone is important. I hope everyone understood the reason for the silence. I was telling about the need for parenting skills in this era of modern day. For example, or to the truth, for everyone who is living in his or her time zone is living in modern era. For us, we call it as modern era. Maybe in ancient time, they also might have said modern for their time. From time to time, when the technology changes, the need for new skills comes into the society and life becomes advanced to such an extent that every new generation is more skilled than the previous generation. How many of you agree or disagree to this point that your children are more talented than you? Yeah, I know, gradually all the hands will come up. The reason being, when you are not able to use your WhatsApp, when you are not able to download a ringtone, when you are stuck up with a complication related to your high-tech smartphone, you are taking their help. So they are very smart. And it's possible to them because of the advancement happening in the, we can say, the human intelligence itself. And parents feel this need to get more or better kind of information or skills to deal with the children. Today, I have something around 20-21 slides to convey the kind of needs of the teenagers, and after the slides, we, the counseling department and the senior members of the middle school will be coming and occupying the chairs, and we can have a discussion session also. And we are planning to complete everything in 1 hour. That was the plan. So, with your permission, can I go ahead with the presentation? Thank you. You can see here what is the need of parenting skills in this era, the importance. Mostly when we use positive parenting skills, it will enhance the relationship between the parent and teenage child and help the teenager themselves. So, most of the skill development is basically aiming at the relationship building. If there is a good relationship, in the sense positive relationship, or if the parents acquire positive skills, it will reflect on the relationship, and once that relationship is smoothened, the teenagers will be able to pass through the age without much difficulties. And parents also find various challenges this time. Children experience many changes during the teenage years, and one very common thing what I have seen is, in the sessions when we sit, parents sometimes pour their difficulties in rearing the children, and after all the emotional expressions, when I ask them about their own experiences, most of them have forgotten it. And the moment those memories are digged out, they realize that this is not much different. We also have gone through all these difficulties. And the most important thing is, parents need to take care of themselves also. For most of the parents, those who are having the first child, the passage of the child's teenage is a fear of unknown. And this is the time parents do a lot of trial and error. They themselves become very unclear about facts. And after that, when the second child is passing through the same stage, there is a slip off, that is already have gone through, so some parents may take it for granted, and the second child may feel ignored, because for the first child there was so much of attention, and because the parents were anxious and all. Once that is passed through, we mature, we graduate in the skill of parenting, and the second child may feel ignored. And one major problem is that parents always feel that till they were in the late childhood, they were predictable, not completely but fairly. For this situation, they'll behave like this. That kind of prediction was clearly possible. Whereas the moment they entered the teenage, most of them are unpredictable, and the calm house become a volatile pressure cooker. Parents feel challenged when teenagers prefer the company of their friends. There is a reason behind it, because by this age they realize that the words of their friends are more important than the words of their parents, and they move towards their friends. This is also because of the identity need, and they get more acceptance, and they'll be able to establish their identity in a better manner among their friends. And there is also greater need for privacy and independence, just because they want to establish their identity. And at this age, children also start viewing at the parents' difficulty and differently, and there will be criticism towards parents. They will back answer. So, for all these reasons, understanding the intense change that the child is going through. Children will go through physiological changes, psychological changes. Within psychological changes, they will be going through tremendous improvement in the intelligence skills. They acquire the abstract thinking ability and all. And emotionally also they go through a lot of changes. And in the sociology also there will be a change. So understanding all these changes will help the parents to maintain a better relationship with the child. Here, it is also found that when parents are positive, they feel better to deal with the children. So parents need to look into their own emotion and work with their mind, so that when they are positive, it becomes very easy for them to understand the difficulties the children are going through, or to deal with the children, it works easy. There is another point here, that in certain situations, both parents may not be able to live together. Nowadays, it's very common that for professional reasons as well as personal reasons. Maybe both parents are not living together. But still it was found that whether people live together or apart, parents living together and rearing the children is the best for the mental health as well as the normal development of the child. But in this complicated modern professional world, it may not be always possible. In that case, both parents should get involved in the life of the child by way of the communication or other kind of system what is available, and give time to the children. There is more coming about this, later I'll explain in detail. A joint parenting approach and positive relationship both parents will be most important, and when both the parents are in good relationship, the children feel more safe and secure. I can say till now I was talking about the importance of the parenting skills. I have seen, like in the Asian countries, the children are subjected to punishment, and there is a need for parents to understand some of the international child rights, and what UN Convention on Child Rights says is that, and in the convention both Government of India as well as Sultanate of Oman are signatories. So we have a legal binding also to this international rights of the child convention. What it says is that all the children in the world, and almost all the countries in the world has signed it, and hardly there is few countries which have not signed the convention treaty or convention's declaration. First point is that it is the responsibility of the nation to provide all the children safety, and it is the right to be protected and live free from violence, abuse or harm. When we say violence, that also includes witnessing violence and abuse. If we are not subjecting the children to violence, but if we are exposing them to violence, that is also going into the category of violence. And all children have the right to be brought up by their parents in family unless it is not in their interests. To express their views and to have them taken into account in matters that affect them. Many parents want to achieve their unfulfilled desires, especially by way of deciding the career for children. If we follow this point, we cannot decide the career of our children. And nowadays I can see that children say that what I want to become, my parents agree. So the transformation is there. To have decisions that will affect them made in their best interests. And it is also the right that to be treated with dignity, respect and fairness. To be free from discrimination, bullying and harassment of any kind. Since it's a legal document, I thought I'll just copy it and paste it as it is. And you can see that your children from 5th standard to 8th standard will be most probably in the category of the first group. which is known as early adolescence. And World Health Organization has defined that adolescence is a period of various changes in domains such as physiological, psychological, and social, which is ranging from the age 10 to 19. And the age group of 10 to 13 is in the early adolescence, 14 to 16 middle or mid adolescence, and 17 to 19 late adolescence. What teenagers need? Children in the teenage to grow in a balanced manner, to attain the full maturity and potential in the domains that they are good at, and to acquire skills for living a successful adulthood. They should be given responsibilities. When we say responsibilities, they should be age appropriate. We cannot give the responsibility that they cannot hold with or they cannot take up. So providing appropriate responsibility is very important, and looking for avenues for giving such kind of responsibility within our living environment and planning for that and executing it. For example, when you're going for shopping, what kind of responsibilities we can give them? And planning the life, what kind of responsibilities we can give them? To arrange a group play, what kind of responsibilities we can provide them? And introduce it to them so that they realize that there is a role they have to play in their own life. And second point that the teenagers need is to know the limits. They will be continuously testing the limits. And if there is no rule, definitely they will try to go haywire. They will not be developing that civil nature by default. And we have to set the limit for them. We have to create the rules and regulations for them and convey it to them. These all are the, for example, when they are growing up, I've seen like when they cross 11 years, 11 standard, beyond 11 standard, most of them have a tendency to roam around in the evening. And in India, if you see, it's happening in a very safe kind of situation. People roam around in the evening. And according to your family culture, family's rule, or considering the safety of the child, you have to set a rule for that and convey the limit to them. This is your limit, and by this time you should be back. And many parents either overprotect the children or overpunish the children. Both are not ideal for their development. Children should know the consequences of their behavior. And one important thing is that when we are deciding something, we should stick to it. And suppose if a particular behavior happened, and if we are exposing them to a consequence, we should repeat that time and again. For the same kind of behavior, we cannot have double standards. Today, the child refused to obey, and I am punishing him. Tomorrow, if he is refusing to obey, if I am leaving him, this will pass on a wrong message to the child, and it will confuse. So the consequences for each behavior should be given to them, and they learn that there is good or bad consequences for behavior. And children also should know about their safety. This is very important, that they should know what are the safety standards for them when they're traveling by bus, or when they are walking alone, or they are playing, what are the different kind of safety things they have to take care of. And another important thing is early and late maturity. Sometimes, though we say that there is set pattern of growth, every child need not grow in same way. Somebody might be picking up growth very early, and some children may pick up late. So early growth, or the early maturity children, those who are picking up the maturity very early, they may become more confident, or they may even become very upset, because in that age group they will be very tall and huge in size. So it will have two consequences. Since they are having the advantage of their physical size, they may gain confidence, or they may even feel very upset about it. And late maturing children, they'll be thinking that why it is me only, and why God is not allowing me to grow like others, and others are growing up and they may pick up some inferiority and such kind of complexes. So in both these situations, we must communicate to them that this should not be taken as a matter of their self-esteem, or they should not get affected with their self-confidence, and tell them that it happens in the living world. We can tell the examples of plants and other animals or any biological system. We cannot say that it is not like machine, or it's not like a product that is being created in a factory. So the growth may be different for different persons, and whatever it is, we have to accept and work towards our growth. And children require adequate sleep. Though it is said that average 8 hours, but in this growing age, some of them may require more, some of them may require less. So according to the need of the child, we have to decide. And a balanced diet. So even though the interest is mostly guided or directed by the age group, or the taste, or the fashion and all, but we have to keep in mind that ultimately it is our responsibility to provide them the balanced diet, where appropriate amount of all the ingredients that is required for their growth. So you have to focus on the nutrition and see that right kind of proportion of protein, carbohydrate, mineral and everything comes to them. Access to sports and hobbies. This is what children need at this age, because there is pent-up energy of growth. So provide opportunities for them to get into sports and hobbies. And they also need time to relax with family and friends. Teenagers also require accurate information on their growth and development. It is sometimes available in the textbooks, but sometimes it may not be available. So children should be passed on with the right kind of information about their biological and psychological development. Parents need to acquire this information. From the school, there will be some information given, and parents also can add on to that. When parents who are very important in their life give them the right kind of information, the children will get most appropriate knowledge. And we should not leave them to take this knowledge from their peer group, because all of them are in the same ocean. And they should also have access to relationship and sexuality education. Some parents may worry that early experimentation may happen if we are giving them the information. But many research suggest that if appropriate and scientific information is given to children, they will not do experimentation, because when there is something unknown happening in them, they will be more confused and they will get guided by the age group of their category or children themselves, and they may get into wrong things. Whereas if parents and adults are giving the right kind of information, and when they understand, okay, these all are the stages happening in my growth, and a clear idea comes to them, they will not do wrong kind of experimentations. And often open communication with the parents on many topics. Nowadays we can see that many of the homes, the discussion on politics or discussion on international affairs, discussion on the local situations, sitting and discussing is gradually coming down. So wherever the discussion happens, children gain better mental health and confidence. And ultimately we can say that it is the responsibility of the adults to have unconditional love for children. Even when they are shouting at us, even when they are showing their anger, even when they are in a moody stage, they are our children, so we have to manage ourselves and pass on unconditional love. Here there is some hitch to it. You see, there is this system of mirror neurons in us, and the duty of this neuron is to replicate what is the emotion that we are seeing in the other person. Suppose if we are seeing anger in the other person, our mirror neurons will instigate us to be angry. Suppose if somebody is feeling sad, we also get sad. That is the essence or the underlying reason behind empathy. Why do we feel sympathy or empathy towards somebody when a person is in a difficult situation? We feel like going and helping them. When we apply this principle, is it possible when your teenager is coming and screaming at you or back answering at you or getting angry, not to get angry? Only parents can do it, because when we are having the unconditional love for our child, we'll be able to help them to pass through that stage. In other ways, what I'm saying is that you gain the ability to go above your mirror neurons for your children. And well-being of the teenagers. Physical and mental good health is the most important point. When we talk about well-being of the child, teenagers should enjoy the physical and mental good health. And they also need relaxation and downtime. Little time to relax and ease out all the stress. Balanced diet, adequate sleep, time spent with friends, social activities, and supportive family and neighborhood. This is what is lacking in most of the modern societies. Gradually everywhere buildings are coming up and the playgrounds are disappearing. The youngsters to come together and socialize. It's now the matter of planned activity. It may not happen by default. We need to design and plan. And in US, people say that they have these play dates. The friends plan together and one parent take the initiative on a particular day they gather together and create opportunity for the youngsters to socialize, play and all. They also need positive self-esteem. It is the right of the child to feel good about him or her. If they are living in a critical environment, it is very unlikely that they have any self-esteem in them. So continuous praising and understanding the positive abilities in them and encouraging them is very important so that they gain self-esteem. Good communication and problem-solving skills are also part of the well-being. So well-being can be nurtured in social organizations such as school, sport and cultural centers as well as within the religious organizations. When we are out of the school or children are having weekends and all, always see that there are opportunities for them to socialize, for getting that edge or interacting with the similar age group so that they gain better mental health and it will finally lead to well-being. Being a Indian school, this is an important point, that we are a multicultural society and there might be different cultures coming in and we all live together. Even when we see the society, this is what is globally being promoted, whether you go to a developed country or underdeveloped country or developing country, anywhere. Now we can see this thing and people are spreading everywhere. Because of the globalization, people are traveling all over the world and world is becoming more and more opened. And everywhere you can see people from different ethnicity and different cultures are coming and mingling. So the cultural and ethnic tolerance is very important among every group. And when someone is traveling for the first time from a rural village or from a particular belief system where there is not much of cultural diversity, they will find it difficult initially, but it takes some time. And when children feel and accept to integrate naturally into their school and community, it becomes easy. And it is the responsibility one way of the parents as well not to talk anything ill about any other culture or diversity or ethnicity or religion, because all the religion and all the ethnicity or all the cultures are existing, and our country, motherland itself is a wonderful example where we say that we all live together, unity in diversity. So this is a very important point throughout the interaction with the children. Every parent need to be careful of not talking anything ill, because everyone might have something in the background. Past is the past, but still it will take a conscious revelation sometimes, but this need to be regulated very much and talk good about all the cultures, because all the cultures and all the civilizations have lot of positivity in everything, because ultimately everything leads to the well-being of humanity. So a parent need to promote the commitment towards diversity. In Asian cultures, or even sometimes we can see in the developed countries also, the parenting is solely left to the mothers, and some male parents leave it to the mother or female parent to take care of the child. I remember long ago when one particular social group came and spoke to me, and the gentleman was interested in me taking up sessions on career and career development and all. When I was talking about parenting skills, he said that we'll leave it to our women's wing. So the point that I want to bring here is there are n number of research finding that when a father takes a serious involvement in the child's development, the success rate in the child's achievement was found to be very high. So it's very important that fathers should get seriously involved, have a laugh, playing computer games. Most of the computer addiction that children develop can be controlled if the parent play with them. Competitions and get involved and regulate. Whereas if it is a child's game alone, they may slip into addiction. Playing football and watching TV together, another method to control the TV watching. And it was found that, I think it was an Irish study, that when the father was involved seriously along with the mother in rearing the children of the age group of 7 to 11, in the age group of 7 to 11, when there was serious involvement by father or male parent, when the child completed the age 16, the marks or the grades that the child scored in the national level examination was found to be very high. Though the marks or scores or grades are not everything, but they have shown that the involvement of the parents, and especially the male parent, is very important. There was another Australian study also I came across. When the male parent get involved, the psychological and sociological well-being of the child was found to be very, very good. And there are things beyond the control, because world over we see the divorce happening. And even in situations where divorce happened, when the male parent, the biological male parent, was giving fixed amount of time to the child on a regular basis, say weekly, this much hours, when the parent was meeting and discussing with the child and interacting with the child, taking him out for some time and all, the success rate of the child was found to be very high. Here you can see some of the standard physical and psychological changes happening in children. They have sudden growth in the age group of 10 to 13 and have an increase in appetite for both boys and girls. They'll feel like eating more, and they develop body hair, underarms, pubic region and chest hair in boys. In the psychological domain, I'm just reading whatever is in the slide, so that next slide again, it will be, both categories will be coming. They begin to develop more abstract thinking and ask philosophical questions such as, why does God let wars happen? These kind of abstract questions will come. That mostly in the class 7, 8 category, you can see this abstract thinking. And appropriately, the syllabus also is very complicated towards that age. When they are growing, you can see they will be feeling stimulated when there is more abstract kind of aspects in their lessons. Children also challenge parents' behavior. Why do you tell me not to lie when you do? Because till the childhood, they were just accepting or silently taking everything. They may not cross question. Now they will start cross questioning. begin to question parents' authority because they want to establish their own authority. And other development, girls, the breast development happens and they start gaining weight, and onset of periods, menstruation starts, and development of sexual organs in boys happen at this age. Psychological changes, they look outside the family for role models or their own personal heroes such as footballers, movie and pop stars. Still need parents' support in helping them to choose between right and wrong. Begin to reflect their identity. Among the boys, they may have spontaneous erections and wet dreams, and this is a very complicated situation for the child. They go through ejaculation because of the biological reasons. There may not be any kind of reason behind it because the hormones are flooding in his bloodstream. He is growing, and in the night when he is sleeping, wet dream happens. And the child will be shocked in the initial days if we are not preparing them. So adequate information about the biological growth, and these all are common changes happening. Otherwise the child will take it as a shock, what is happening to me? So these kind of information can be very well provided by the parents. And they also have the issues of pimples and acne, both boys and girls. So we need to communicate the hygiene points to them at this age. And boys go through voice change. Begin to reflect on their identities, one point in the psychological changes. Begin to identify the maleness or femaleness and like to spend time with their own gender. Display interest and talent such as in music, sport, debating, etc. The multiple intelligence, and they will try to travel through different domains of their intelligence now. They start to become self-conscious because of the growth. They will look into the mirror a lot of time and they start thinking about themselves, become conscious about themselves. In the emotional and behavioral domain also there are changes. We can see they become moody and withdrawn. So even then when they are moody, we need to be nice to them because that moodiness is part of growth and it is not in their control. It happens by itself because of the spurt of growth. Experience many emotions, especially fear, which is often expressed as anger. This is a very common thing during the adolescence because when you see the psychological developmental domain, there are two categories. One is the intellectual and other is the emotional. Emotional development happens little late, and their emotional maturity will not be as good as when you compare with their intellectual ability. They may be able to think better, they may be able to understand the abstract things, but emotionally they will not be able to understand what is happening to them. They will not be able to control their emotion. They will not be able to understand others' emotion at this age. Feel safer expressing anger at home than in outside world. And when you see the emotional clusters can be classified into negative emotion and positive emotion. And within negative emotion, we put all this anger, sadness and all these things. Within negative emotion, you can see negative strong emotion and negative weak emotion. Anger is usually counted as a negative strong emotion, and a teenager who has been always hearing that crying or expressing fear and all are putting down his identity, or if I express my fear in front of the world, people may count me as a weak person, so they cover it up. And the fear will be projected through the anger, because the world accepts him as a strong person when he is showing the anger. And behaviorally, you can see they begin to withdraw from parents and want to spend more time with friends, though usually only in school or home settings. Like to share activities with children of the same sex. The age group of 10 to 13, the males want to spend more time males and females want to spend more time with females. Begin to challenge the authority figures in general and start to realize that parents don't know everything. Start to look for emotional support from parents, especially for the school reasons. Feel socially awkward and self-conscious. They worry about unwanted attention from boys, particularly girls who are maturing quicker than peers. Earlier I was mentioning about the early maturity. So this is a point where parents need to take care of it. Late maturing boys may fear they will never catch up with friends who are maturing faster. And behaviorally, you can see they start to reject parents, which is a very sad situation for parents, or worrying and anxious kind of situation for parents. They have their own secrets and have a need for some privacy, but at the same time have need to be safe. And emotionally, you can see they appear to reject parents, but at the same time need parental support. And now this is a very confusing situation for parent. Even when they are rejecting, I have to support them. Then only will be able to guide them through this saga of adolescent development. Need to know they are very loved unconditionally by parents. Not only having the love inside, but they also need to know it. So we have to express it. Start to become aware of sexual feelings in relation to their own bodies rather than in relationship, because of the physical changes happening in them. So these are some points and some tips. Talking to children and listening to them is very important. Play for them, it's very important. Parents' involvement in the play is also important. Understanding changes as they grow. Set boundaries and limits. Reward and notice good behavior. Whenever good behavior is happening, reward it. Notice it and immediately reward. Do not wait for it. If you catch them while they are doing good, there is a chance that they will be always positive and doing good. Never expect that they will not do anything bad. They also will do bad. But it's part of growth. Building self-confidence. Have realistic expectations and allow consequences. Deal with meltdown moments positively. There will be a lot of such kind of moments in the child's growing age. And it's also very important that the parent need to look after oneself. Look inside yourself. Think about your stress and develop methods whereby you can overcome stress. When things are getting out of control, discuss with your friends, discuss with your known people, discuss with your relatives, or you can also contact the experts in the area to help the children if things are getting out of control. These are some play materials for the age group. At this age group, hobby materials, various hobby, identify their best hobby and bring in the materials for them. Art and craft materials, musical instruments, sports and game equipment, camping equipment, construction sets, electronic gadgets, because it's all part of life. Even though we say there is a chance of getting addicted, in a controlled and adequate manner. Now, people say that how much of we talk against mobile phones or smartphones and all. We know that what is the proportion in which it is all being sold. So it is not possible that we can completely ban the children from using it. They are going to use it, but in a controlled manner. We were discussing and we found that parents may fall in 3 categories as far as electronic gadgets and such kind of uses are concerned. One category might be those who give everything and then do not bother or worry about it, where the children may slip into addiction. Another category might be providing things in a balanced manner, and they also verify and check and control the usage. And third category might be because of the fear of the children getting into trouble, not at all exposing. The first category and third category is not at all advisable. In the middle, in a controlled manner, all the things children should go through. Otherwise, if we are not providing them, they, when they get a right chance to utilize things, they may develop obsession to it. So now, may I request our counseling team and Assistant Vice Principal and the Vice Principal of Middle School to please come and occupy the seat. We'll have a question and answer session.
I know that was a very heavy session. You can start asking questions if you have any. Nobody has any questions. In class, when we don't have any questions, it either means they did not understand anything or they have understood everything.
Even
So
though,
now what is that?
even though the question may not be related to the presentation, because in a presentation there is always a limitation that everything cannot be covered. So we gather information and we put it across, and we feel that okay, these kind of information will be useful to parents. But beyond the realm of this presentation, there might be a lot of things going on in your mind. Unless and until we interact with each other, this session will be incomplete.
There's always a starting problem, I think. Yes, we have the first question here.
Good evening, everyone. If my son says at a moment, not like that, there is a routine always in a day about what he's supposed to do and when he's supposed to do, but then sometimes he falls back on that and says that I don't feel like doing it this time, I can't concentrate on my studies this time. So is there anything?
So what I understand from your question is that when you design a routine for your child, he is not able to follow the routine. The best thing is that involve him in developing the routine.
Yeah, even when you do
And
that, yeah.
what we say is that it depends upon the person to person. You know, in this world, as I was saying in the beginning, we have an individual, not a common, prototype. And when it's an individual will not be able to grow in a standardized manner. There will be different kind of abilities. So it's all right once we make the plan, we should not get obsessed with following that 100%. In the initial, even if it is little bit, yeah, okay, and pick out the positive points that he has done. and keep praising him, rewarding him. Then he will expand his domain of completing it. If a routine depends upon the age and the individual as well. And as and when they grow, the planning skills and all comes only at a later stage. At this age, children need a lot of support from parents. And in a complete structured, timetabled way, they will not be able to live. That is because of the growth, because they are children and there are internal developments happening in their brain. Mostly, the children will take decisions using their midbrain or lower brain. And when people grow, their analytical thinking and all those abilities develops based on the experience only they acquire. So the way you're doing it is a nice thing, and continuously reward him for what he has achieved, and do not make it an issue that he is not doing certain things. And when you decide the priority, you can apply priority in it and teach him how to work on priority, because there might be a lot of things when you make a timetable. But at the same time, when you say time management, it's very important to follow prioritizing. So help the child, along with when you're making a routine chart, you also train the child to create a to-do list. Every day the child can do a to-do list, and then train him to prioritize it. What is a high priority, what is a medium priority, what is a low priority. And then he can do. And whenever you are making a chart or timetable for child, you also should keep some time for buffer. Yes, there will be possibility that unexpectedly some guests are coming. The child's time is lost. So do not take a tight schedule. Make a schedule where there are buffers. Thank you.
And if I may add, Mr. Prashop, to the madam's question, what I do with my child, I always give my child the liberty to make the timetable. Yeah. And then we try to stick to it. And as Mr. Prashop said, we try to give a buffer also. So on certain days, the study time, there is a good movie showing on TV. So we switch the time. She goes to watch that movie on TV at that time, and the TV time can be switched on for studies. And this doesn't mean that we stick on to this every day like a military regime. These are all children. We are talking about 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old children, and they need their freedom also. So we play it by the year as and when it comes. And as Mr. Prashop said in the beginning during his presentation, after the first child we graduate. All of us graduate as parents, and then we know what to do. By the time it is already late for the first child, but the second child gets advantage. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, the children doesn't come with a catalog how to maintain the child. We have to play it by the year and see how well we can do it. Can we have the next question? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I have seen two types of behaviors in child with respect to their demand. Means if you have gone to market, one child demands one item. Okay, you see sometimes you feel it is not appropriate time or age to buy this item for him. Either he has grown to older or he is too younger. So some child make too much embracing scene out of there. They will cry, they will shout, they will sleep down, they will make some noises, and they make parents to buy the item for them. This is one category. Second category, when you try and explain the boy in one or two sentences, he will agree with it and then he will not make any noise. So second category is always acceptable for all parents. But is it any negative point in that I want to know?
In the second category?
Yeah. Because I have learned from my experience, means one who is very adamant and is a jiddi type, like I want this, that behavior is continued in its younger age, and it gives him courage to get what he wants. And is it correct that it gives more success criteria other than this obeying boy?
These all are the behavior of the childhood, and as and when they grow, maybe traces are there, but in the complete form it will not exist, because they get civilized more, they get emotionally matured more. As you said, like certain personality types will be there. It's always better to have the second type of child, isn't it? Everyone would like to have a child who is well balanced and when we talk and all. So the problem might be in dealing with the child whom you said in the first type, who is having so much of stubbornness and will not abide by others' point and all. So in the situations where they are demanding things, there is something known as this concept, which is known as delayed gratification for such kind of children. We have to plan, and as such, when the child is sitting with you, it's very difficult to explain. Okay, we have strategies, you can always visit us. And I do understand other parents also might be requiring the answer for this. So will it be possible for you to somehow manage the problem which I said?
May I add on something?
Yeah, please.
We will manage to visit you sometime.
You understood, no?
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
But is it problem related to parents having only one child, or it is common problem even if you have more than one child?
No, say every child is unique, and sometimes for the same parent, a child who is like a saint will be born. To the same parent, when another child is born, he will be completely a kind of angry young man. So it depends upon the individual, and everyone grow. If we scientifically design the situation, to some extent we can modify the behavior. For example, if we employ techniques like token economy, reward system, all these things, then we will be able to modify such kind of stubborn nature.
No, I am not worried about first type of attitude. I am worried about second type of attitude.
I was answering for the second child only.
Once the child is very calm and you feel it is too much obeying you, is it a matter of worry, or it is a blessing? I don't know.
Now, suppose if there are other issues along with, you have to worry. If this is the only problem, then it's good. But you have to see whether he is being exploited by his peer group. Okay, if he is easily giving in to others, and the world is such a kind of place, when they see that this person is very simpleton, they will try to extract and exploit things from them. So such kind of things. Another thing, are there any other kind of emotions like excessive amount of fear in the child, shyness? If all these things are there, then you have to worry. Otherwise, if he is listening to you, and then if he is saying that it's all right, and if he is agreeing to your point, it's all right.
Thank you.
May I say something in that? As far as I have been able to understand, I feel you are concerned if the child will become a submissive person. Am I right? Submissive in terms of personality, giving in to the situations. That is your concern, if I have been able to understand your concern.
No, I'm not understanding the word what you are using.
Okay, submissive. What I mean is, I feel your concern is the child should not be left behind, that everybody is suppressing him and he's never able to lead, for example.
No, I am not talking about this concern. I am talking about if we find that your child is too much obeying, is it a good thing or a point of matter of worry, and we need to investigate why he is too much obeying?
That's what I'm coming to. as sir have already mentioned, is a positive point. Let's appreciate that he has been so understanding and adapting to the situation, seeing the marketplace and all that. At the same time, I sense that there could be a concern if it is good for the child all the time giving in and being so understanding, because in today's world, if you're not able to put your point across, if you're not able to negotiate your point across, it could be difficult to live in. It's the competitive world. That's what I sense into your question. I would like to address that also. For that, we need to look into other indicators. Is he able to communicate well in other situations? Is he able to put his point of view across or not? So where the point of concern comes, you have to look into if there is some suggestive indicators for the same. If so, you're most welcome to come and discuss also. Then the question of concern comes in. Thank you.
We'll take the next question, sir, please.
Good evening,
Good
ladies and
evening.
gentlemen. I have a question about my daughter. She is now 12 years. She's always, she's academically and learning everything is fine, but she's a little bit slow in doing anything like taking a bath or spending time in the toilet, getting dressed, or even eating. It's taking a lot of time. And she's, another problem with her is she's fearing the heights and not much adventurous, and she's even small rides and everything, she is very hesitant to get into that. So if there any, I feel that that can be put as a counseling treatment is required, or I need your advice on that.
Is it something recently developed?
No, from the beginning.
From the childhood she was
Yeah,
like
she's-
that.
Yeah,
It's not because of the teenage development as such.
no.
So it could be a kind of personality type, but you have to help her to overcome it.
Okay.
So definitely counseling will help her, and when at home, when parents talk, the children always, it is not necessary that they will understand or they will take it for, whereas a third person, when they talk, when they interact and all, they will realize that it's something that need to get corrected, and it's good to take some sessions or interact with counselors, so that whether there is anything serious or not, we can realize.
I don't feel anything serious. She's a little bit slow, but she's making her lessons and doing well in the studies. And she's behaving very well with others. But what's this? We're a little bit worried about this attitude, like slow in eating and getting ready, getting late for the schools. And sometimes she feels unnecessary pains to go to school, because I think she's just withdrawing as of a little bit.
Yeah, then it is not a good sign that if she is withdrawing or if she is absenting from the school and all.
Yeah.
So we need to see it with appropriate amount of seriousness, not as a serious problem or anything like that, because maybe we can prevent many things if we do a kind of timely intervention.
Okay, so can you advise me the steps forward? Maybe after this session, I'll.
Yeah, you can discuss with any of the counselor here, and you can.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And don't worry, if she comes late, don't worry. I'm standing at the gate every day. I will catch her there. Yeah.
Good evening all.
Good
I'm not kind of discriminating between boys and girls, but I'm a mother of two boys, and naturally grass is greener on the other side. So is it that girls are much obedient in studies and all when I compare my boys to his class girls and all?
Any mothers with
I
daughters?
can answer that. You should come to my house. I have a daughter at home.
No, compared to the writing work and the neatness, everything, like everything.
Yeah.
Room, the cleanliness in the house, everything.
I have reared a boy and a girl, and the kind of complication I had in rearing the boy was not there when I was rearing the girl.
So I'm correct.
It is, I think, natural that the females are strong in any species.
Okay, thank you. But still, like, then how can we change? How can I make changes in myself to bring him up, the elder one? Because now I'm going to go into practical. He's in 11 years old, so definitely I'll be having many questions coming up as the practical days come up. Today's session is definitely going to help me up, but
Right.
you know, it will fade away as the time goes. Also, I wanted to know, the second question was like how, now we are here today to discuss. So you can please help me as like practically what the school does in this, like what time can we come here, what kind of questions can we come up with, a more detailed thing as to how the school is supporting in this. Because tomorrow, day after, I cannot come up alone to ask these questions. I hope you got me.
Yeah, so what is your suggestion?
No, there's no suggestion as such. I'm going to get experiences now. I'm totally blank. My first child is 11 years old, so for me it will be I'll come up with questions only in practical day-to-day life.
Right.
So how will the school help? I'm just asking, it's nothing like corner, but I'm just asking that how the school will be helping us.
So can I answer the question?
Yeah, please.
The school is already organizing a lot of talks. This is one of them. Okay. Down the year, this is not the only talk that we have. This is one of the talks we're having with the parents. The remaining other talks we're having with the children. Every assembly, almost every assembly, we're having a talk with them from the counseling department. Mr. Jacob Sir, Mr. Eskelin, they're all having sessions with the children during the assembly. So it's on varied topics. It could be on time management, it could be on confidence building, it could be on examination taking skills. So we got a whole it's also for the girls and the boys, we have separate individual, separate talks for the girls, separate talks for the boys.
Okay.
So at the counselors level, at the school level, administrative level, we definitely are reaching out to the students. Okay. So you won't be left alone. And it's all calendared, so you would be aware what's going on.
Okay. Because my son, he's like not very open, and maybe he's a boy, so he's not that chatterbox kind coming and saying me what would happen in class.
And one more thing is that you are always welcome, even individually, even after today's session, you can always walk up to the counseling center, definitely, to the principal's office, vice principal's office, AVP's office. Everybody is ready to talk to you.
Okay. Is it in the school hours or after
Yes,
that?
during the school hours.
Okay.
With permission, may I say the time of the counseling department? The counseling department works from 7 to 2 every day.
Okay.
And two counselors, Dr. Benny and myself, Bubbly, we work from 2:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
And then Mr. Prashok and Ms. Tanuja, they are here from 4 to 6.
Okay,
So
in
you
the
have a
evening
counseling
also.
session going on right from 7 to 6.
Okay, fine.
So you can always give us a call. You're on the school number, extension 525. Give us a call, speak to any one of us, take an appointment so that we don't schedule somebody else during the
Fine,
time. And
and
when you
we
walk in,
require
we're given
time,
your
correct.
time.
And I think this information is very important for the parent. Anytime you have any issues with your children, or you feel that there is an issue with your child, whether it is to do with the counseling department or not, you can just walk into my office anytime. I am available there most of the time. Talk to me. If it is something that has to be dealt administratively, I will take care of it. If it is something to be dealt with the counselors, I will put you on to the counseling session, to the counseling section. On an average, I get to speak to about 8 to 10 parents every day, and at least 4 to 5 of them are referred to the counseling section, and they are all getting help from the children. And as Madam was saying, we are very aggressive this year, or particularly on the values of children. I mean, we feel that the children should be given enough values. You know, they should know what values are. And we are very aggressively talking to the children, marketing this idea about values, and we have started reaping the benefits of it. I would like to share here one of my students who have contributed or gave up her hair for cancer victims, from class 7 student. Nobody instigated her, nobody told her. Because she wanted to know how she can help the society, she went into the net, she found out how it could be done. She went to India, she got in touch with the Cancer Research Institute, and then she gave her hair, contributed her hair for cancer victims. This is about empathy. We are talking about empathy here, which we were doing very, very, very aggressively during the month of April and May. This month we have started with kindness. Now I'm sure something will, we will come across all this. So it is not just that we are having only these sessions and we are finishing it off. We have a lot of series of talks with the children, and we are working on it. It is not just math, science and English that they pick up in school. We are worried about how they behave in the society, and that is what we are trying to bring up. Can we have the last question now, please?
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, you're talking about the parents and the children. What about the teachers? Yeah, because see, I have a concern on that. Especially we are all partners. I thank the school for arranging these kind of a session which is there. It's not a general statement. Please don't take me as a general statement. ISMS, we have a lot of confidence in ISM, but it happens. It happens with a couple of teachers where the language used is not up to the mark of the school. That plays a lot of role in an adolescent child. Okay, these children are coming and discussing with us, hence we know. What if those children who are not discussing with those parents?
I appreciate your question, and I accept that it is happening. It will happen in school. And what we are doing about it, I have taken it on my shoulders now. I speak to my teachers at least once in 2 weeks. And that's the best that I can do. I talk to the teachers, I tell them that these are children, very impressionable, we need to be very careful. All these things we are doing, but at the same time it happens. And if it happens, please do bring it to my notice so that I can counsel that individual teacher. It is not just talking across the counter, it doesn't help. I need to talk to that, and it is happening. There are parents who bring up questions, and my email ID is very known to everyone, bp.middle@ismoman.com. Whenever you have an issue, it is not a fault-finding mission. Let me put it like this. I never look at any parent who walks into my office. The parent is not coming to complain to me. The parent is a partner in education, and he wants the education standard to be better. And therefore, I look at it as a suggestion. And when the suggestions come, I try to put it across to the teachers. And if it is an individual teacher, I try and talk to those teachers. We are counseling the teachers, and some of the teachers are also spoken to by our counselors also at times. This is what we are doing.
Other thing was, today's date, no matter what, okay, communication has become a kind of a live wire for our living. And school has also invested a lot in terms of communication, but that communication aspect, or that communication thing, we have a portal, very good portal, but I don't think it has been utilized very well. I have written so many comments on that particular portal, but not a single where I have received any response to that. Parents.ismoman.com or whatever it is.
I can get back to you. I'm not sure about this. I will get back to you. My IT team is there. They are sitting there and live recording and being telecast over the website as we are talking. I will get back to you on this. If you could leave me your email ID and your number, we will check and get back to you.
Thank you, sir.
So, may I?
Yes, ma'am. The last question for the day. Because these IT people are here from morning 6 o'clock. I don't know whether they have had lunch also today.
Yeah, just my question is that if I lack of concentration, so what should we have to do?
Ma'am, lack of concentration in the children may happen for various reasons, and we have to understand the reason for the lack of concentration. Is it associated with other things like hyperactivity? As a child has hyperactivity, is it right from the childhood, or is it something recently started? And teaching the children to concentrate will become easy if it is not for any other kind of major reason. And mostly, if the child is discussed with, or we talk to them and then communicate with them that there is a need to concentrate, if there are no other underlying issues, it works. But when you say concentration, we cannot put a full stop there. There might be attention problem. The child may not be able to attend. The child might be severely hyperactive, moderately hyperactive. All these things need to be analyzed, and after analyzing the reason behind it, we'll be able to come on the strategies or interventions for that. So, a kind of meeting with somebody is ideal, or else if you feel that it's a kind of minor thing, try to talk to the child and tell him to concentrate. Or else, if things like meditation and all can be introduced, and if it works, sometimes it will work also. As I was mentioning, if it is a clinically diagnosable ADHD, then we have to go on a totally different kind of method for it.
Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to first of all propose a vote of thanks here. I would like to thank our principal for organizing this wonderful session. Support of the vice principal of the middle section, Mr. Jacob Zakaria, his assistant vice principal, our HODs, and of course, this session is for you. And so I thank you, parents. I thank Mr. Prashop and the counseling department for the wonderful talk. And I also would like to extend our thanks to the IT department, who is live streaming this entire program as we speak. So it's available again online if at any later date you would like to consult this program. And also I would like to extend our thanks to our operations manager and his wonderful team for the logistics provided. And I wish you all happy parenting. And at any time you feel that you would like to still come and talk to us at an individual level, please, you're most than welcome to make an appointment. I emphasize on the point of to make an appointment, just so that we don't lose your time in the whole process. So have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week ahead. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.